Just look at him. Tim's standing by the big screen, just about to announce to us the next big thing from Apple. And boy, oh boy, it's so big, Tim is gonna cover a lot about it. But, one more thing in this video that we will talk about is what was missed and not told to you about the Vision Pro. Welcome to Untold. We look at untold, unspoken, and not mentioned things that so far has been kept as a secret for the Apple Vision Pro. Yeah, you might be thinking, it looks so nice. Looks like a ski goggles, super fancy. And the product through rundown, everything is shown with zooming in effects of reflections of the camera and those cooling vents. And the turn wheel knob and the fancy fabric that goes around it to cover out any light that cannot enter while you wear this headset. But it makes you wonder, is it too good to be true? And why is it not available to be ordered right now? Because if you try to order it on Apple's website right now, you'll be told, hey, it's really cool, learn about it, but it will be available later next year, with a hopeful glimmer early next year, only in the United States. Why? That's the question, and we'll talk about that in today's episode of Untold. Apple Vision Pro. What has not been told to you so far in the Worldwide Developer Conference that happened on June 5th. First off, I want to tell you about what we know so far. Apple is betting big on this new input model. After all, hey, the first iPod had its innovation in the input model with the shuffle wheel. And then the first touch screen, look at the iPod Touch, iPad, iPhone. They're also all based on a new kind of input model, which was multi-touch. And then came the trackpad on the Mac, which was also zoom in, pinch out, zoom out, multi-gesture. They were all breakthroughs that Apple brought in an innovative way to take input into a computer, which no other competitors did. Of course, after Apple brings out a product, everybody ends up copying it to a limited degree of success as much as Apple does. So the question is, why did they move to Vision Pro? And that's because, as you know, the current iPhone is on the way to be dead because of how many transistors you can put in it. Already, they're heading to 3 nanometers. And boy, oh boy, those 3 nanometers are really small. And maybe that's going to last another 2 years. And we're talking about 2025. And after that, the next chip for whatever, M5, M6 chip, A17, A19 Bionic, whatever's going to come, will maybe have the 2 nanometer process. And that's looking at 2026, 2027-ish. And by 2029, and I can guarantee you by 2030, there will be close to 1 point some nanometer of a chip. And that's it. How much can you innovate on that little iPhone? How much can you add to the next M8 chip or M9 chip by 2030? You can't really do much. So you can clearly see that the iPhone is on the way to the graveyard by 2030. And so is the Mac on the way to the graveyard. And so is iPad, and so is iPod, so is most of Apple's products. And that is because all these products have increasingly become, over time, faster because of more transistors that could be put into a chip. And that chip, my friend, is coming to the end of innovation by 2030. So we only have 7 years to move to a new product line and to move every single user from current products to a different new kind of product that's going to be radically different. And that Apple, in my opinion, is thinking will be Vision Pro, because it is really merging everything. The experience of a desktop, the experience of a mobile phone, the experience of multi-touch that you get from an iPad or from a trackpad on your Mac, the experience of many devices put in one. And that's why it's going to be the next big thing. But the problem is, at its product launch, there has been a lot of details that has not been mentioned to us. We got a lot of talk about the immersive experience and the multi-touch and how it took them years to make this cool thing, and they're calling it the spatial computing, and they gave a big history lesson about iPhone brought in mobile computing, Mac brought in desktop computing, and this Vision Pro will bring in spatial computing. Ooh. So where is this heading in terms of what we have not been told? You've seen about how this Vision Pro goggles helps you watch your TV shows on Apple TV. It helps you browse the web. It helps you do pretty much everything you do on your iPhone, iPad, Mac, desktop. But it didn't focus too much on what is new that you cannot do with your Mac or iPhone or iPad. Can you take a 3D video of what you're looking at? That question was not answered. Can you take 3D footages and then can you edit them right on the Vision Pro itself and share them with your friends and maybe new apps that will use that 3D video sharing ability? We didn't hear too much about that either. And let's talk about more of what has been untold so far. How many hours of battery life is this thing gonna have? You see that they got the goggles connected by a pair of wires, and those wires go to a battery pack that sits in your pocket. You can see right here, she's got the wire slinging right behind her back. Well, how long does that thing last? Is it a day? Is it half a day? No comments, no information about that. Yeah, you see a nice spatial way you can put all of your windows, and then if somebody comes in, you're immersed in, and that immersed experience is gonna bring that other person into the view. But that's still not what we want to know. Many people are still left with the question, the fundamental questions of, how is it gonna help me do something that I cannot do with my current Mac, with my current PC, with my current iPhone, iPad? I can take pictures with my iPhone. I can edit them on a Mac or a PC. I can upload them on video streaming websites like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, if they're shorter versions, make reels out of them, or Facebook. And why did Apple avoid talking about those? And why did they just bring in this thumbnail view of mail, messages, Keynote, App Store, Notes, Photos, Safari? That's not much. It's very basic. And many of you may be saying, well, it's their first product, developers haven't had their hands on it, and that's why everything looks so basic and everything looks so, really, looking at a desktop screen with a spatial kind of a feel. That's really, in one sentence, what this product can do right now, and that's what we're being told through the presentation. And that's really where we're going to talk about the secrets and what has not been talked about, what has been missed, perhaps deliberately, or perhaps because they are not ready yet to talk about it. Is it because of supply chain issues? Is it because they're getting Foxconn and TSMC not up to speed with Vision Pro? Those are all untold, and we will talk more about that. But first, let's look at what we don't know about Vision Pro. I've talked about things that we do know so far, and you've watched the Worldwide Developer Conference video already, and you too know what it is good at and what it does. What we don't know, my friend, so far about the Vision Pro is it going to have a SIM card option? I talked about other stuff we don't know, such as how long will the battery be? We just know about the price. It's going to be about $3,500-ish, $600-ish US dollars. But we still don't know whether it's going to last a full battery on a single days of charge. We don't know if it can capture 3D video or 360 video. 360 video capture ability is so important because most of their competitors now, such as the other headset from Meta, Facebook, the Oculus is perfect to experience 360 videos. You have seen people use them in workouts. You've seen people use them at other physical and spatial computing based situations. We don't know anything about 360 video yet, and I feel that should have been the first topic to talk about. Everything else that Apple talked about, such as you're working remotely from a hotel room and you can now talk over FaceTime wearing these goggles with another person, that kind of defeats the purpose because I can do that on an iPhone, I can do that on an iPad, heck, I can do that even on a Mac. So how does it really set Vision Pro apart from existing products? And that seems to be a big weakness in the presentation so far. I mean, you see very happy workers, like this lady is smiling. Oh wow, there's such a great feel. Looking at both of you at the same time while I can see the room. But that's not a big sell factor. And that's not strong enough to get consumers and get a big adoption of Vision Pro. If 360 cameras were talked about, and we don't even know do they have 360 cameras or not, that would have been a big deal. Because if you have a 360 camera built in to the Vision Pro, then you can create 360 content while you wear the headset, and other people with the headset can then experience that through 360 video streaming services, such as YouTube, such as Instagram. And you know why? Because when Instagram was first born back in early 2010-ish, and when TikTok was born early 2015-ish, 16-ish in some countries, even 2017-ish in some other countries, those two reel and short-based video making apps went viral because you with an iPhone, you with an Android phone can make your video. And then right away share it, and then other people who follow you can right away watch it. So it became an ecosystem of video creators who create videos through the inbuilt camera on their phone, and video consumers who consume it on their phones. And that became a multi-billion-dollar market. And that's almost many of the reasons why, if you ask any teenager, why do you want a smartphone? Hey, I need to do TikTok, I need to do Instagram, I need to do Facebook Shorts, I want to do YouTube Shorts. When you have a headset like this, the main advantage is you shouldn't be sitting on a couch like this, dude. That's totally dumb. Because if you're sitting down and looking flat at the wall, then you might just watch at a TV or at a desktop screen. You are meant to move around with the headset like this. And when you move around with the headset, your videos that you consume are 360. And as you rotate your head, as you walk back and forward, your videos follow you along, and you are completely immersed in that. And you've seen that with the Oculus too. And you've seen that with people who use 360 cameras to produce videos that many people consume through Oculus too. So the current ecosystem, a big marketplace of 360 videos, already involved 360 camera that people use to make 360 videos, and then people who use a headset like Oculus or like other competitors in this space to consume the 360 content. And same goes with gaming. Gaming is amazing on Meta headsets, and like Oculus too, or like other headsets, because you can move your head, you are immersed in that experience, you pretty much are as close to teleportation as possible. And that teleportation-ness, that ability to teleport yourself and immerse, hasn't been too much of a focus of Apple's Vision Pro inauguration, because this lady got Coke and got some snacks and sat down on a couch again. A couch, come on, a couch, and she's watching on a couch without moving her heads a flat screen video. Hey, that's so dumb. Why are you gonna watch a flat screen video when you can watch it on a TV? Why are you gonna replicate something that's already flat and already pre-exists on a headset? And why are you showing this person eating popcorn, sitting on a couch, watching their TV through a headset that is meant by definition to make you move, so that you're walking, you're moving, your heads are rotating. You are presenting this Vision Pro product, Apple, as if you're not there yet, as if you have lots of kinks to work out. And that's why a short-hanging fruit is promoting the Apple TV business. And more than 20 to 30% of Vision Pro's inauguration has been talking about consuming Apple TV content and other video content that's really a flat content, not a 360 video, a flat content through their headset. And that's a big bummer. So to recap, we haven't talked about all the untold facts yet, but to remind you, we spoke about we don't know how long will this thing charge. We don't even know how much memory, how much gigabytes or terabytes can this thing have. And third, we don't even know, does it do 360 video capturing? Yeah, 360 video consumption would make sense because it's going to have the built-in accelerometers like Oculus and other competitors. So, still, how is it different from Oculus? Because if Apple cannot establish that difference point, other than just showing that it's just a flat augmented reality graphics gizmo that allows you to watch TV and get a space-like feel around it, that's not a strong enough sell point. It's almost like a halfway point between 3D TV, but it's still missing the full potential of what a metaverse headset, what a fully immersive headset can do. So that brings us to a couple of grounds for what I'm going to tell you next. Number one, Vision Pro is still a bare prototype. It's still not ready for prime time. Because if it was, then we would have heard a lot about 360 videos, at least Tim holding his hands in Namaste move would be telling us, hey, we finally figured it out and we're ready to compete with Oculus. But much of the emphasis has been on the Apple TV consumption model. They got Walt Disney executive Bob to talk about augmented reality AR stuff that you wear while you wear the headset. You will see animations that are overlaid on top of what you see. And overlaying the overlay experience, you can do that with an iPad right now. You can do that with an iPhone as well. You can just grab your iPad or grab your iPhone and you can get the same augmented reality overlay experience right now. So why would someone pay about $3,600 plus tax? That's more than $4,000 to get the same goddamn overlay AR experience as you can do that with your iPhone and iPad already. I don't know what was going on through the marketing team or the whole event coordination team behind Vision Pro, because that's not a strong enough sell factor. And if you look at Apple's investors, they're not really happy about it either. So why are we not being told about what can this product be improved on? I talked about 360 camera being a big deal. If it could capture 360 footage and then it could upload it to 360 footage, 360 video streaming services like Instagram, like YouTube, and like other many apps, and then many other people with the headsets can then consume those. Just like how we have our smartphones, we produce footages for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and other social media platforms, and other people consume them on their phone. Same way, this product is completely at a mess right now because they're not designing it so that it's going to produce content such as 360 videos, and then other users can consume the 360 content from their headsets. So clearly, there's a lot of room for improvement. And I'm sure, even if you work at Apple and you're watching my video, you already have this talked out with your manager at Apple. And you already have a roadmap to putting in those improvements. And I'm quite sure that other people who are watching this video, you too know that the product is having a big room for improvement. And lots to come. As you know, iPhone 1, when it first came out, was really basic. Over time, with iPhone 5 and 6-ish, we really saw what fully an iPhone can do. So it's going to take years to come to add those essential features that will make it a hit product. Right now, Apple's stuck with the lowest hanging fruit, which has been consuming content. We don't see too much of a creator focus so far. And that's a big part of this Untold episode is, hey, this product, it's not going to help you produce too much of a content as a phone can, and then it's not going to become a big hit in the Instagram, TikTok, YouTube consumption market either. It's really going to be a substitute in how you consume flat screen media, such as a TV, an iPad, a Mac, a phone, that can overlay on what you see, and that overlay will have custom backgrounds that gives you that immersive experience. So the deal we're getting is overlaid graphics, but that deal is not a strong sell factor for version 1 of Vision Pro, because that deal is already something that we get from iPad, from iPhone. Then comes the next question. We know the Untolds, some of them so far. Untold, most likely, it's not a big leading edge in 360 videos capturing and production yet. Maybe it will be. Most likely its battery life, it's going to be at most a day or half a day. Maybe. Most likely we'll be able to consume 360 video content and get that immersive feel as with Oculus with this device. But the biggest untold so far, in my opinion, and maybe you agree with this, and I would like to hear from you in the comments, is the whole issue of privacy. Because if those cameras are opened all the time to give you that continued overlay experience, overlaid augmented reality, your every move, your every photo, video, everything you see with your eyes is being big brothered in a way. And at the end of the Worldwide Developer Conference, Apple talks about, well, we got your privacy covered, it's end-to-end encrypted. But the question is, even if it's end-to-end encrypted, it has a camera that's always turned on to give you that AR feel. And I would see it, and we haven't been told about it, is can I turn those cameras off when I don't need them? Because if I'm using them and something private happens, those cameras are continuously doing machine learning, my friend. Machine learning the heck out of everything you're seeing with your eyes. And that's creepy as hell. And that's the most creepy part of this device. An option to turn it off, and you having the power to turn it on when you need to, would be a very wise decision. Maybe Apple already will have that coming up in their next software update for this device. Maybe they already have it. But again, why are we talking about this? Because those are the things that should be talked about at this product launch. Those were the things that were essential to be discussed at the Worldwide Developer Conference, and yet those were avoided and not talked about. And it kind of makes you wonder why. Why did they have too much of an emphasis on consuming flat media content, like a TV, like your desktop flat screen, your iPad flat screen, consuming that flat media content just with an overlaid experience? And that overlay is that flat TV graphics overlaid on everything you see around you. That's not too big of a sale point. And then, oh, hold on, we got something for you. Disney executive. And you can see overlaid Disney graphics. Well, that's just still not a big sell point, because you can still do that with an iPad, iPhone, AR, augmented reality. Hello. So something's fishy in Apple getting it wrong. And this bothers me, because this is the first big Apple innovation, and Steve Jobs is not there. When iPhone came out, when iPod came out, when MacBook Air came out, all those big flagship products had Steve Jobs announcing them. And Steve, of course, would pay meticulous attention to every single detail, to how the product was presented and how it was unveiled. But in the unveiling of the Vision Pro, I am really at top disappointment, because AR, augmented reality graphics of flat screen stuff, already is done through iPad and through iPhone. And why is it being repeated on Vision Pro metaverse goggles when this has more potential? And those more potential topics should have been the focus of the unveiling. Those more potential points, because after all, if the product is ready for prime time, you could buy it today, and you can't. So most of the discussion and the Worldwide Developer Conference for Vision Pro has been futuristic. Hey, we're making this, we're testing it, this is beta, developers are going to get it soon, but everybody can get their hands on it next year. And the promise is early next year in the United States, and much later for the rest of the world, of course. So when we know that the discussion is futuristic, when we know it's not a market-ready product yet, why did we not hear too much about the roadmap of features that are essential for such a product to get prime attention? And you know why we didn't hear about those? Don't think that Tim Cook is unaware of this. Tim is very well aware, and the entire team at Apple is very well aware, to have kept this presentation and unveiling to be keeping answers and questions hidden from us. And that's because they know that this unveiling is going to cause a lot of hype on social media, and it's going to cause a lot of talk on social media platforms, on news platforms, and it will get and attract and really prove to be a big gravity generator, gravity that will hog attention to Vision Pro. Still, a lot of things haven't been figured out about the Vision Pro, and much of the unveiling of Vision Pro is most likely in the line of a publicity stunt, because much of what we learn about the product is in line of the bare minimum that it can do. and not the maximum potential that it has. So far, untold and so far, unknowns still remain. We still don't know how long will it stay on a day's charge. We still don't know how hot is it going to get when you wear it. We still don't know whether it will have 360 cameras. We still don't know, can it capture 360 footage by itself? And where will we share the 360 videos? Developers, are they going to figure out new kinds of apps? Will Instagram, TikTok, YouTube develop different means of consumption for Vision Pro's videos? Or will it just fit into the standard 360 video group as Oculus and other competitors do in that group? We still don't know whether we'll be able to turn the cameras off, those creepy cameras, and there are lots of them. At least 4 you see, 2 on each side. Can we turn these creepy cameras off? Because they're going to be monitoring and machine learning the hell out of everything you see with your own eyes. We don't know any of those answers. So what do we know? What is worth talking about on social media and what's worth about talking about on the newspaper? Well, the first thing to talk about is it's still not ready for prime time. It's something, really a beta demo of something super beta that will become a playground for developers for developing the first generation of apps. And for most of everyday consumers, the Vision Pro in its current form is, in my opinion, not useful. Because augmented reality graphics, as you saw in the demo, you already do that with iPad. You already do that with iPhone. But it's going to be useful for developers to get their hands on it and develop apps much like the iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3. They were really useful for developers to understand what the product can do and really develop apps to their full potential. So are we talking about another 3 years or even 4 of delay time? So 2023 is the current year. So you add 3 to 4 years, that's 2026, 2027-ish. So are we talking about this product becoming mainstream like the iPhone around 2027-ish or 2026-ish, even 2028-ish? And if you answered yes to that question, you're 100% right. And Apple knows this very well. They know that the current Vision Pro is really meant for developers. And much of the consumer-friendly features that it showed are really not that useful to consumers anyways. So the consumers are not going to buy it. The developers will be getting it. And the developers will be pushing the limits, especially of the R1 chip. Because what the R1 chip has done is it has a breakthrough ability in processing all those multi-input signals of tracking your eyes. And that's innovative because Oculus doesn't do that, and none of the other metaverse headset competitors do that. The dual chip design with the sensor signals being processed by the R1 chip, that's phenomenal. So we know the answers are not told to us, the consumers, right now. But if you're a developer and you're looking at this video, you might be having some questions too. As a developer, you got Xcode opened up on your Mac, and you're ready to code and upload your code and apps to be tested on the Vision Pro headset. And for developers, the biggest question that stays is it going to be compatible? The kinds of multimedia that will be generated by the Vision Pro is the kind of multimedia, the codecs and the formats, are they going to be compatible with other metaverse headsets? Or will it be exclusive to the Apple ecosystem? And that's an important question for developers that lie unanswered. I know Apple's having a lot of developer follow-up conferences and small groups. And as a developer, take advantage of all those opportunities and ask those questions. And you see the fancy animations of, again, augmented reality and overlaying graphics over an existing space. And I'm eager to see, as part of the untold answers, how many of the questions we have discussed today are actually answered in the next Vision Pro product. I often get the question, do you think there's going to be Vision Pro 2, Vision Pro 3, Vision Pro 4? And I say absolutely yes. Because iPhone will be dead by 2030. The last iPhone will most likely be iPhone 19 or iPhone 20. Because by that time, the chip inside the iPhone will have reached peak transistor capacity. It can't go less than 1 nanometer because that's the minimum that's the minimum distance between two atoms of silicon. And we're getting to 1 nanometer pretty soon. And it will never be 1 nanometer. It will be 1 point something nanometers. So clearly, right now, Vision Pro is a playground for developers, not ready for prime time for mass consumers. Clearly, a lot of questions remain unanswered, and the hope for developers is getting the answers from the Apple Developer Small Group Mentorship Conference opportunities. And for the mass consumers that are left behind, you can stay at ease and not worry about the Vision Pro because it's really not meant for you. And you can stay happy with iPhone knowing that your iPhone will be dead. I don't mean your iPhone will die, but there's not going to be too much of an innovation coming up to iPhone after 2030. So you're good for the next 7 years. Stay happy with your iPad and your iPhone and your Mac. Because by the time we reach 2030, we'll have a rich ecosystem of apps on the App Store for Vision Pro. There'll be new kinds of social media businesses, billions to be made in this new market. Big impact for workplace, remote work will get a complete facelift. And education will get a complete facelift too. And it's going to become an essential product. Much like the iPhone, the Vision Pro will become an essential product and will be the successor to the mobile phone. But the timeline to reach that is 2030-ish. Until then, you can stay very safe and secure with your thoughts to not get rid of your iPhone and not get rid of your iPad. But as a developer, it's prime time to rush into the gold mine because this is the next gold mine. Much the way when 2007 saw the first iPhone and we saw billions of dollars made, earned, and shared with the boom of apps, with the first iPhone to follow through 2007 to now, and it's still continuing from Instagram, from YouTube mobile, Shorts, TikTok, everything that came out with the ability to share your video, photos, annotate them, decorate them, and share it on a social media, that became a big driver for smartphones. The absence of those meant BlackBerry went out of business. As you know, BlackBerry was a big competitor to the smartphone market before Apple stepped in. And Apple's lead edge was their App Store, and a lead edge was the tight hardware and software integration. And their next lead edge was their multi-device interconnects. How iPhone is useful, and still an iPad is useful, and still a Mac is useful, and it's almost like every piece fits into a role within the puzzle piece. And the big revolution to come is when Vision Pro will get full maturity over the next 4 to 5 years, and we'll be reaching the end of the iPhone era with maximal transistor packing. What's going to happen is everybody's going to ditch their smartphones and everybody's going to have a VR, AR headset like this. Will the market share be a 30-30-30 kind of a split? Maybe Google will take a third and Apple will take another third and Meta will take another third. Most likely, no. Because Apple's already got over 5,000 patents behind the Vision Pro, and they've made big strides in the human friendliness aspect of the front glass. As you saw, every single other headset makes you completely blind. So when somebody's in front of you, you may be able to see them, but they cannot see your eyes. And Apple put a lot of patent barrier for other competitors to get that feature. And there's going to be a lot of competition from other competitors, and you know who, Samsung, Google, and everybody else, and Meta, who will try to copy this feature of a see-through option that where someone else can see your eyes while you wear the headset. That's a big kudos to Apple, because nobody figured that out, and Apple already figured it out. And by the end of 2030, when we see everybody has ditched their phones and their computers and everybody's going to be using these headsets, with the boom that developers are going to milk and make billions, of course, in the meantime, we'll see a new way we interact with the world. How you work, how you go to school, how you watch media, how you produce media as a content creator, everything's going to go flip. Your skills and your knowledge in these kinds of headsets, metaverse headsets, call them, or AR, VR, will be the next opportunity and the next horizon to conquer. I leave you with this thought. Yes, we don't know many of the answers that we discussed in today's Untold episode. And do leave your questions in the comments, and I'll follow up your comment questions in my next video. But do know that the other big untold piece is safety that we still don't know. With smartphones came radiation, and radiation, people debate whether they cause cancer or not. When so much radiation, infrared and other stuff that's going to go into your eyes, and it's so close to your eyes, if you have never tried a VR, AR headset, go ahead, try one, and you will see your eyes are going to get fatigued. It brings you to the question of whether we're going to enter an age by 2030 where we're going to cause a lot of harm to our eyes, and especially the optic nerve that connects the eyes to the brain. Because a lot of things happen in terms of blood vessels and nerve that work between the eyes and the brain. And we still don't have any research that shows this is safe for your eyes and it is safe for your brain. And it's not going to cause any radiation or mutation to your cells. And those are answers we need from Apple. We need to see a full health report on long-term use of this device and its impact. And that's the biggest untold that I leave you as I end this video. Technology is good, but to what level of use is it safe? Much like dosages for a medication. Overdose of anything will be harmful for our health, and we still don't know how many hours of usage of this device is going to be healthy for you and healthy for me. At the end, we still need to eat 3 meals a day, and we still watch other people, except we watch them not in front of us. We watch them through an iPad, a phone, a TV, and now heading to this age of a metaverse headset with AR, VR overlaid graphics. And it's all happy and nice to see its power and its potential. But much like when cell phones came in and we saw the whole issue of dopamine addiction and knee-jerk reactions in teenagers, and even as a teenager myself, the health impacts are very serious. And tech companies don't talk too much about that either, because at the end, they are a for-profit company. They need to make money by selling something innovative, something different. You pay the money, and millions and billions of people together pitch in money to buy their products. Those monies go in turn to cover their payroll, overhead, and the leftover is left for the shareholders as profit. Take care, be safe, and do comment below about what other questions you have about the Vision Pro. I am for sure eager to know about the biggest untold which is the health impact of bright illumination set right to your eyes. And that, hopefully, we'll know more about in following and more episodes to come next. Take care. And always remember, technology is presented to you with all bloom and all fireworks, but there's always a dark side. And the purpose of our Untold episodes are to unveil what questions remain unanswered by the big guys and develop a conversation with you and bring awareness on what we need answers on and how we can get them by asking the right questions and by sharing the right questions with the right people. It was my pleasure to talk to you today about the Untolds for Vision Pro headset. Look forward to chat with you in the comments. Take care.